Like you're doing well.
How are you doing?
A little tired, but it's a good feeling, certainly. Good feeling, certainly.
All right, now you want to start?
What was going through your head after Zed's dunk at the beginning of the game, and what did that do for the team's energy during the rest?
Listen, Zed's dunk, certainly, but also just how hard and active he played to start the game, I thought was contagious and gave us a good boost to start the game.
What does your relationship with Zed mean to you?
Yeah, I love Zed. Zed's a great, he's not a kid, I've almost said great kid, he's a young man. He's a great young man. And he's the type of guy that you love having over to your house and being around your family. He's like a family favorite. And you know, I think the thing about Zed that I'm most proud of is he showed some real growth since he got here. And you know, maybe even more so off the court, which is ultimately what this is about. So I love Zed. His family's awesome. The support they provide for him by coming to so many games, and we got to build a relationship through recruiting starting out, and then you know to coach him, and yeah, he's a special young man.
Jake, we talked to Juwan. He said when things aren't going well, food doesn't taste the same. Your pillow is harder. So how does your food taste right now? How does your pillow feel right now?
Well, I think first off, I just have a lot of respect for Coach Howard and that program, and I think this game means a ton. And we talked about this leading into, like, you can throw the records out the window and just expect like a real battle. So, you know, and I think that's what makes this rivalry so good is there's a level of respect and some other feelings and emotions, you know, towards them certainly. But yeah, I don't know. Everything just, I'm a little tired, probably more than the food tastes better or not. I just feel tired. You know, I think that's been the biggest difference, you know, for me personally, and just being transparent, I'm a little more tired.
Defensively, the way that this team has played now for a pretty good stretch, you continue to hold teams in check more than you did a couple weeks ago, and you're able to stop runs before they can get out of hand. What is ultimately differently about this team? Juwan said it's in a lot of ways the same, but you're getting better results. What is different about you guys defensively?
I think we're playing with more urgency and aggressiveness, and you're seeing that with some of the turnover numbers. But the sense of urgency, aggressiveness, and then I would also say just how together and connected we are. And it certainly wasn't perfect today by any means, but especially coming out of halftime, I felt like we were really connected and together.
Jake, congrats on the win. You said you can throw all the records out the window, but how much more special does it make it that this game was your fourth win in the last 5 games?
Yeah, you know, we've really tried to focus on the task at hand, and this game is special specifically because it's the team up north, you know, so I think that's real, and we've like I said before, we leaned into this game, you know, this kind of one game against our rival, but certainly we're feeling some momentum. I think that's real, and our guys have earned that. But if we start to look too far ahead, or we start to think about other things, you know, this college basketball can change quickly. So we got to keep focusing on the task at hand. And right now, it's, you know, having some good practices with this and getting rest with this time we have in between games, and then a great opportunity going into a gym that's really hard to play in against a team that's, you know, really been playing well. It feels like the last, you know, few weeks.
Just another one for you on defense in the first half. It seemed like Zed and Philos were just a tad late on the low help, whether it was Terrence or Doug or Namari driving in. What changed in the second half, and how do you guys plan to attack that moving forward?
Yeah, we talk a lot about their level in the ball screen. I think that's what you're talking about. The ball screen is kind of that double where they're bringing two guys up.
I was actually mostly talking about down low.
Oh, you're saying in the post?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We let the ball in a little too easy in the first half. So I think, now listen, those two guys they're good individual defenders. We also didn't provide enough help, it felt like, in the gaps with you know, being active from the perimeter to help the post defense. But we did a better job of that in the second half. Darius Reed's a good player, and even though he caught it deeper, I felt like Felix and Zed, they fought, they battled. There was a physicality, and they made him miss, a few that he's certainly capable of making. But they made a good adjustment coming out in the second half.
Jake, you say you're more aggressive, but it also looks like you're playing more relaxed or looser, which is an interesting little thing. How have you gotten them to do that? Where is a little more of a relaxed, not as uptight? I don't know if you're seeing that, if you sense that. So you've got this mix of aggression yet more relaxed.
Yeah, we're playing to win, I think, and not that we weren't before, certainly, but I just feel like our mentality, our focus is to stay aggressive, and we weren't perfect. We were overly aggressive in a couple gaps where we had some turnovers, and I think also, we're still working through, some of the shots at times, but what I want to make sure we're not doing is looking over, like we need to stay aggressive, we need to play with pace, we need to try and strike early. Those are things we've talked about consistently, but I think maybe what you're referencing too is there's a confidence guys have right now. And I think that's where you're seeing kind of this aggressive, but also, you said loose, but I think it's confidence.
You're speaking of confidence, you're 4-1 over the last 5. Not that you ever doubted your ability, but is there any confirmation or any just satisfaction from you as a coach to say, I can do this?
Well, we're 4-1. I think most importantly, our staff, I understand that it's like, I'm the one sitting here and I get that, but our staff, like, they deserve so much credit for, what we've been able to do, how we've come together in the last, couple weeks. I've talked about this. This has been really hard for all of us. And it takes a whole program, I think, to fight through the adversity that we were dealt. So I think I said this earlier too, the games were kind of that was the part I was least worried about. It's been well documented my family and the coaching that's in my family, and so I'm so thankful for just my dad having me in the gym when I was able to walk, and I love this game and I got that from him. And so the games, that was kind of the least of my worries. Not that I had it figured out, but there were just other things to focus on. But our program, I think most importantly is 4-1 with, we got to keep going.
First thing, 22-2 in fast break points. You've talked a lot about pushing the pace in games, aggressive offense, aggressive defense. I mean, did you see that maximized in this one as you built that lead? Yeah,
I felt like our guards and our guys who we want to rebound and push it, I thought they played with great pace. And part of playing with pace is everybody else has to get out and run too. Certainly our turnovers helped with that. Like, we were able to get some numbers advantages because of the turnovers we forced. But our guys are running their lanes hard, they're running the floor hard, they're pushing the ball hard. We've been working on that. That's the urgency side. We've talked about playing with urgency, we talked about the defense. That's part of the offensive urgency that we need to operate with on a consistent basis, because I've said this, it is hard in this league, with this coaching in this league and the experience in this league. It's hard to score over and over again in the half court. So you got to try to create mismatches with pace. You got to try to get the ball ahead of the defense at times, and our guys have embraced that.
Well, you found half court success too, 71% in the second half shooting the ball. How do you get to that number on offense? That's pretty ridiculous.
Being connected. I think that's the biggest thing. Being connected, guys playing to their strengths. But we every huddle we break is family, and the connection that our guys have right now is really special.
Jake, I know the 40 bench points is a little bit distorted with senior day in the lineup and everything, but how much of that is a validation to what you guys are doing with the depth of the rotation? Dale scoring 10, Zed at 9, but Scotty's been really good.
Yeah, our depth has been really, it's been a real strength for us, especially these last couple weeks. Roddy scoring 15 points. He's obviously, I think you could say this, we have a lot of starting quality players on this team, and guys are stepping up, they're playing with confidence that we talked about, which is helping that, certainly. But you know, we've got a lot of different ways we can score the ball. For us to score, you know, 84 points and Jamison have 8 on 5 field goal attempts, like I wouldn't have been able to anticipate that. But I think it speaks to just the versatility of this team, the depth of this team. We've done a much better job getting to the free throw line. We're playing through the paint a little bit more and more aggressive. So I think that's good. But yeah, I'm proud of how guys have stepped up in their time, and I think that's going to be important for us, you know, the rest of the way.
You mentioned the time off. How do you maximize that? It's not always that you have the bye week this late in the season. Is it still go in practice? Do you take, you know, your foot off the pedal a little bit? How do you approach that?
Yeah, I'm going to make some calls to some people who have some more experience than I do in this. Certainly, we'll talk about it as a staff. But I think we need to get some rest, but we need to keep the momentum, and there's a balance there. But we'll meet. We'll figure that out. I'll lean on some of my mentors to kind of help figure that out. We'll lean on the staff certainly, but I think you're right. It's a balance. But when we're on the court, we don't want to sacrifice the urgency and stuff we've been practicing with, so we can shorten the time certainly, and do things like that. You know, off days we have some flexibility this week to help us get ready.
All right, Mike.
A coach put in your situation would be challenging no matter what, but you immediately get the number 2 team. Then you immediately have to go on the road to a couple difficult places, and you immediately then get a rivalry game. The last 2 weeks, for you personally, has it felt like a blur? Has it felt like a year? Is sleep difficult? What has it been like for you, all this one after another, the 2 weeks last week?
Yeah, well, I think when you really step back and put it the way you just put it, it is pretty hard. I think first and foremost, I've been open about this. Like I'm getting strength from my faith, and that's the foundation. The next part, like my wife is unbelievable. She's like a superhero with what she's able to do. We have a growing family, and her support for me is like, I didn't think it could somehow get any better, but it has. So I've gained a lot of strength from her and her support. At some point, kind of after the season, you know, I think we'll be able to sit back and reflect on you know, what we ultimately end up accomplishing. It's not to diminish what we have accomplished, because I think our guys and the people in this program deserve so much credit for what we've been able to accomplish in this short period of time. But yeah, faith first, my wife next, and then we have, I think that connection that we have right now within our program it's empowering me too.
Yeah. You guys have been closing out games. I mean, you really closed out today, which, as we know, was a struggle earlier in the year. Is this a mental toughness thing? Is it just disconnected stuff, or how does the mental focus play into that?
Yeah, I'm sure it's a little bit of both. I think some of it is players making plays and stepping up. It's been great to see different guys in those moments where the game could potentially swing, that we've seen different guys within our team step up. There's been, I think, you know, the guys who maybe the veterans you think about certainly, but then you think about some of the big threes Scotty Middleton's hit in some of these games, or some of Devin Royal's big minutes. I keep going back to Felix and just how impactful he's been, you know, these last few games. So that's been it's been different guys every game, but then I feel like the confidence, the aggressiveness we're playing with really down the stretch has been a great thing for us.
Coach, I don't know what went through your mind when you took over the program, but I don't know how many people around Ohio State thought that March, more so 2 weeks from today, was a possibility that your name would be called. Now, obviously, you guys are playing for that. How much do you talk about that? I mean, how much does every game at this point become a bracket game?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what went through my mind, and my first thought was with Holt, to be honest with you. That was like, my heart broke for him and just his family, because I know how much he poured into this program. And then I thought about our players, and I thought about, okay, you know, Gene had asked me to do this, and he was very clear, like, we need to make it about them. So we went to work, our staff, doing that right away. As far as, you know, kind of the position we put ourselves in, I think you see every year, this time of year, you see teams, you know, get some momentum, you see them win some games, and to me, though, like, our focus has to be on Rutgers. I want our guys to enjoy this game tonight and you know, spend time with their families who are in town, and certainly, you know, beating your rival at any point of the season is big. But we have to turn the page, and we got to focus on Rutgers. They're a really good team, and I understand that, you know, our momentum is giving like some things for people to talk about, and that's exciting. I also need to say that the energy in the shot today, especially, but even just these last few home games, has been unbelievable. And for our guys to be able to experience that's been awesome. So all the things you're talking about are connected, you know, and it's been hard, it's been challenging, but it's, you know, our guys, I think, are having some fun, and they're motivated. So we have to keep that going, but there's nothing more important now than the next one.
Jake, I know every coach is going to do senior day differently. Some guys might roll your best five out there and let's just make sure to get our seniors a few minutes. Some might start all the seniors if they're walk-on to scholarship, and you start Owen today. Even at the risk of maybe you could start out slow and fall behind and starting to walk on. What has Owen provided to the program where you trusted him and said you're starting this game today?
Well, he earned the right to start. It was really an easy decision. He earned the right to start. He deserved to start. We tried to run a play for him, the first play, but we get to see every night. Like, you guys don't get to see how important he is to our program, but I mean, think about this now. You go to practice every day and you're battling Zed Key, and you're battling Felix and Austin Parks, and you know, and then you don't get to go, like, get the reward of playing on game day a whole lot. So his love for this program is real. He deserved, you know, he deserved everything he got. I wanted him to get a basket so bad, but he deserved it. It was an easy decision because of just what he's about and how much he's poured into this program. He's really, really important to this program, so we needed to honor that.
Were you more surprised that Bruce got up with that dunk, or that Zed was sprinting down the sideline almost to the Michigan side when Bruce did the dunk down? Yeah,
so I've challenged Bruce. Since I've known him, he's always told me how he could dunk, and I just said, I've never really seen it in a game. And that was impressive. That was impressive. I'm sure I will forever hear about that. I can no longer talk to him, or, you know, I said something to Roddy. I'm like, Roddy, did he dunk that? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, well, now he's got more dunks than you know. So we have a great relationship. I don't know if that's true. I guess Roddy did have a dunk. Now that I think about it, maybe it was after. But listen, we've talked about how special Bruce is, and I think he doesn't get credit for the complete athlete that he is, because he's not really making a ton of plays above the rim. But he is a phenomenal athlete. He works really, really hard to stay in great condition and be able to maximize, you know, his ability. And Zed moves really fast, because I've been kind of pushing the limit a couple times. I'm trying to get better at that, of being out there. And Zed was well past me, and he was there quickly. So we'll evaluate the film on that and see if we can utilize some of that speed in maybe some ball screen coverages or some other things.
Finish up over here, Patrick.
Yeah, I know you probably don't want to get into specific conversations, but today, with obviously being a senior day, what was the message to your seniors specifically? Just their overall message, and like a lot of them have been through a lot of adversity in the last year, some of them multiple years at Ohio State. So what was like the overall message to the group?
The overall message was thank you for obviously not just coming here, but like seeing this season through the way they have. And it hasn't gone, you know, there stretches certainly where none of us anticipated being like that. And they, you know, Jameson's been vocal about why he came here. And so, thank you first, and you know, I love you. I think those were the messages. And I learned from my dad at a very young age, like, basketball team, that it really is a family. And we've had people who played for my dad probably before I was even born, he still talks to. And the amount of messages and former players of his that have reached out to me, and then, you know, you look at like the Valpo family that I have, the amount of former like teammates and coaches and stuff that have reached out to me during this time. Basketball's, it's such a great game, and the family stuff, if you treat the game right and you really pour everything you have into it, you do leave with the family. And so those guys know that if they ever need anything from me, like, all they have to do is pick up the phone and call, even if that's 20 years from now. And the message was to the rest of the team, we need to honor them today. You know, I think that was the other message. So I appreciate your question, but I think that family stuff is real, and I've seen it my whole life. So I want to continue to keep that going.
Jake, thanks.
Thank
All
you,
right, guys,
JJ.
thank you.